Welcome back to CFO Weekly, where we're talking with financial leaders about how to build efficiency in their teams, create time for strategy, and ultimately get results. With your host, Megan Weiss. Let's jump right in.
Rick Mills is CFO of Headsets.com, serving in this role since 2008. Rick is responsible for finance and accounting, as well as information technology, human resources, and product development. Rick's previous role includes customer service management and supply chain logistics management. Rick has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Cultural Studies from the University of Minnesota and has served on the board of the San Francisco chapter of the Entrepreneurs Organization. Rick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Megan.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to our discussion, which is focused on your company's decision to transition from a reseller to a manufacturer and some of the specific opportunities and challenges that came along with that. So let's jump right in. First, let's talk about your career progression. Are there any particular stories or moves that stand out in your mind as turning points in your career?
Sure. Well, one of the early turning points in my career was a few years into working for Headsets.com. I was running our logistics operation, and we have a program in the company where after a certain number of years with the company, you can take a month sabbatical. And one of the rules of that sabbatical is that you have to be able to have your job covered while you're gone. You can't just walk away, obviously. And so I was up for my first sabbatical after a few years with the company. And when I came back from that, as I'd handed off most of my duties to my team, I came back and they were all doing it so well, they didn't need me anymore. So I said to our CEO, I said, well, I should probably do something else rather than go back to the other job. And that's when I started working on the finance and accounting side of things. And that kind of took me in the direction of becoming the CFO over the long term.
Yeah, what a nice perk to be able to take a month and go try something else or travel or whatever it is you want to do during that month.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better perks about working for our company is that you get one every 5 years, and a lot of team members have been able to develop and change their roles through that program and get long breaks and be able to decompress and do some traveling, obviously. So yeah, it's one of the great things about working for Headsets.com.
Yeah, definitely. So Headsets.com made the decision to transition away from being a reseller and turn themselves into a manufacturer. So tell me about the issues that you were experiencing that led you guys to that decision.
Sure. So our history, we started as a company in 1997, and around 2000, we started really forming our existing mode of operations, which is to be a high service, high touch operation to really help customers who need really good quality customer service and to understand what they need in a headset. And when we did that, we started being a reseller for the major manufacturers' products. And in 2000, the internet isn't what it is today, and if you sold other people's products, you could market those products and the marketing would come back to you in the form of sales calls and other direct sales. And as we progressed through time, the internet became something where fewer and fewer clicks it took to find the major manufacturers' products on the internet, on Amazon, wherever else you could find it. And we came to the realization that we could no longer be a marketer of products if we wanted to be a reseller. And so we decided we don't want to be a reseller anymore. We wanted to have our own products. And we started selling our own brand of product, or sorry, not our own brand, but our own named products through other manufacturers. It still had the manufacturer's name on it, but it had our product version of it. So we had our own product versions of other manufacturers' products.
So kind of like a white label?
Yeah, exactly, like a white label. So we were the only ones in the marketplace who could sell that specific product, but if you wanted a different product from that manufacturer, you could get it on the open market. So that worked for a while, but over time, you end up being in direct competition with that manufacturer as well for other similar products. And that led us to another transition of, well, we really need to be our own brand, our own products, and be the manufacturer.
So what were some of the biggest challenges that you experienced during that transformation?
I think probably the biggest one would be when you're developing your own products, there's a longer time frame for working the kinks out. We had bringing new products to the market meant that there are going to be hiccups in it, quality control issues. You have to work with the manufacturing facility in order to make sure that there's high quality control, which we never had to worry about before when we were selling other manufacturers' products.
Right. I can't imagine that that's an easy transition.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But luckily we do have good suppliers we work with, good manufacturing facilities. So, we're lucky in that way.
So what have been the greatest benefits of the transformation, and have they lived up to the original expectations?
The biggest thing for us was having more control over our supply chain and not having as many commitments we have to make from buying product from manufacturers. When we were buying from other manufacturers, we had pretty big unit commitments in order to keep the relationships going in the direction they needed to go. And now that we are developing our own products, we still have commitments we have to make in terms of units and keeping our manufacturer partners happy. But we've got a lot more control over the product and how much of each type of product we need to buy. That's given us greater margins to work with, and that helps us pass on savings to our customers. We've got more control over the steps in the value chain.
Yeah, makes sense. And the higher margins make sense as well, since you're not kind of the middleman anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the other big ones for us is that, now we can really focus our marketing efforts and all the sales come back to us. We can sell on Amazon and not have to worry about promoting stuff that other people are going to buy from other resellers. And we can put our product out there wherever we want to and know that because we're the only ones selling that product, those sales will come back to us.
Yeah, I think Amazon has really changed the game for so many things these days.
Yeah. They're on some levels they're very hard to work with, and other levels they've helped us a lot.
So no conversation these days would be complete without the mention of COVID. So do you think that transforming your business has worked in your favor in the current pandemic environment? And if so, how?
Yeah, it has worked in our favor. We were surprised when the pandemic hit in some middle of March when things started to close down. We had a sudden spike in sales. There was a day when most of the planes stopped flying, and the next day, our sales really took off, and we were surprised. And that lasted 6-7 weeks where we had a lot. Our sales went up probably 50% over that time period for that next 6-8 weeks as more and more people needed headsets to work from home.
Yeah.
And so we were lucky to be in a business where the things you needed from us were things you're going to use working from home. And that didn't last forever. And then we saw a dip in sales as the economy went down. We saw some hit from that. But for the most part, we've been lucky with what's happened with COVID, in that because of our transformation, we have a lot more control of our supply chain, and we weren't necessarily as worried about not being able to have product for our customers. When we were a reseller, we are at the mercy of what product was out there to buy up. And being with our manufacturing facilities now, we've got a lot more control over when and how much product we can get.
Yeah, I'm sure with so many things out of control right now, it's nice to control as much as you can.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did the transformation from reseller to manufacturer change your role as the CFO?
Well, for me personally, I'm much more focused on product development areas and product quality. Not something we ever worried or thought about much before, especially the product quality side of things. Because we were selling on major manufacturers' brands, all the product quality was done on their side of things, and we worked with really good manufacturer. The products we were selling were very high quality products. So now there's a lot more emphasis in my role placed on finding and fixing issues that pop up and making sure that they get a quick turnaround on the manufacturing side. And then more specifically in product development, just thinking ahead about what's the next life cycle, what's the next products we need to bring to market, working with designers and manufacturing to think further down the road about what we're going to be selling in the future.
So maybe it sounds like it's changed your role into something maybe even more strategic than it was before.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more strategy discussions about where the market is headed and how do we position ourselves to take advantage of that market.
So switching gears a bit, tell us something that you've done to transform yourself, either personally or professionally in the last few years, and what led you to do that?
Over the last few years, I've taken more time to develop those around me to be leaders. It's taken me quite a few years into my career, unfortunately, to really learn the lesson that we have to close the gap in terms of the learning that we do and the team members around us are doing to make sure that they're developing faster than we are so that the business can keep growing and team members can develop their careers. And I've always been a very hands-on type of worker, and I'm learning to step back and develop those leaders more so that I've learned the lesson that we have an obligation to help our team members learn and grow in their careers. And while I knew that intellectually for a long time, I didn't really take it to heart.
Yeah, well, congratulations for realizing that. I think there's a lot of people out there who never get there. And it's a shame when, people don't pass on what they've learned to those that work with them and under them. So I commend you on doing that.
Thanks. Yeah, unfortunately, it took me a long time to learn that lesson.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I think some people never get there. So better late than never.
Yeah.
And lastly, as a CFO, what is keeping you up at night right now?
The economy and the election. Those two things seem like they could tip in either direction at any moment. And, I have a really great team. The people that work at headsets.com are really great people. And we want to make sure that we can continue with that team. And what's going on with the pandemic and the economy right now is just there's that extra worry that things could tip in the wrong direction.
2020 has definitely been an interesting year.
Yeah, for sure.
I, for one, am ready to put it behind us.
Yeah, definitely.
Rick, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed learning about you and your experience transforming from a reseller to a manufacturer. It sounds like it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable, and one of the things that's kept me at headsets.com for quite a number of years.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, change is nice. Not everyone enjoys it, but you learn a lot. So to all of our listeners today, I hope you've enjoyed today's discussion as well, and I hope you'll tune in next week. Until then, take care of yourselves and have a great week.
If you're ready to boost efficiency and streamline your accounting processes at significant cost savings, it's time to talk with Personiv. Their people-powered solutions have transformed the delivery of back-office tasks and general accounting functions for decades, partnering with clients to provide everything from accounts payable to payroll services. See what Personiv can do for you by visiting personiv.com.
You've been listening to CFO Weekly, presented by Personiv. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts to hear all of our episodes. Want to learn more? Check out personiv.com. Thanks for listening.